What's up, y'all? It is CJ, and welcome to another episode review of Love After Lockup / Life After Lockup. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for visiting my channel. While you're here, go ahead and make sure to tap that subscribe button and also like this video. And for my regulars or those who actually watch this review, welcome back. Y'all know I always appreciate and love each and every one of y'all. Don't forget to share this video while you're at it. And also check out my chit chat review video that I did a little earlier where we talked about a few other things. But that's not why y'all are here. Y'all are here to talk about season 3, episode 55, Confessions of a Serial Liar. And I'm pretty sure y'all can guess who the serial liar is. Their name rhymes with Dawn, Fawn, Lawn, Sean. Shauna got himself caught up in some lies, and I guess the chickens have come home to roost. So we're going to go ahead and start with them because that was definitely the most interesting story. And then we'll go ahead and talk about, Brittany and Ray next. But now we start the episode off with Sean. He's getting the townhome cleaned and tidy because Sarah has agreed to come and spend the weekend with him. So he's excited about that. He's got this sad ass charcuterie board there, and he laid out a sheet and some flowers on the carpet, and I guess it was cute enough for a little date or whatever he calls it. But anyway, she comes over and she tells us in the confessional that she thinks that she is ready to get it in with old Sean. So they're going to have relations this weekend, I should say. And they get together and, she's kind of impressed by his efforts to impress her with the little food and the yang. So they get together and they do indeed have relations. And when they were getting ready, was it just me or did Sean pull out a box of Magnums? Now, I don't know much about Sean and Destiny. I think if we recall, I think she said it was all right. It was good or whatever, considering she hadn't been with a man in, a while. So it was good for what it was. But Sean doesn't strike me as a Magnum man. I don't know. I mean, do y'all think he is? It ain't really for me to say, but something's telling me that Sean, he misjudged his size, which probably explains, why he's got 6 kids now, because the Magnums probably kept slipping off and he kept impregnating Kelly. That's just my theory. I don't know it to be true or false, but I'm thinking it's more so true than anything else. Now, anyway, they're laying there post-romp, in the bed. They're holding hands all intertwined and all starry and googly-eyed. And Sean uses this opportunity to ask her how good it was. And so she tells him, it was good or whatever. He was like, just good, I'm like, what the hell you want her to say? It was so amazing. I'm digmatized now. I mean, what did you expect the woman to say? So she tells us in the confessional that it was really good, actually. Sean is really good at sex. I mean, obviously, look at all the kids he got. But she don't know that yet. And he, she says he was very patient with her. He took his time with her. He knows that it had been, some years since she had actually been with a man. And so he was taking his time with her and she really, really enjoyed it. Now, I guess he thought that she was just going to be so enthused by the sex or hypnotized, digmatized, whatever you want to call it, that he then decides to lay on old Sarah that he has 6 kids. So at this point, Sarah is pissed. As she should be. Why? Because we remember when Sean gave her such a hard time when she told him about her one child. When she told him that she had, a daughter, he was mad. He was saying that, she was keeping stuff from him, XYZ. All the while, he had a whole fiance on her, as well as, him having 6 children and him being in his 40s or however old. Yeah, how old is he? 46, I want to say 48, something like that. He old as hell compared to her. But he has kept this a secret from her, and she doesn't know about it. Now, Sarah at this point wants to know, what else are you not telling me? Go ahead, lay it all out on the table now. You exposing secrets at this point. What else is there to tell me? So he lets her know that he was engaged to Destiny. And we remember Destiny from last season. So she wants to know, when were you engaged to Destiny? And so he tells her that they were engaged for 2 months. It didn't work out. She wasn't the one for him. She wasn't good for him. But he tells Sarah that she is good for him. So Sarah is kind of wanting to put this timeline together. So she's like, okay, so based off of what you told me, you were talking to Destiny, at the same time you were talking to me. And when things went right between the two of you, that's when you cut me off. That's when you completely, ghosted me. I hadn't heard from you. And then when things went, left, then all of a sudden, you started back calling me. So is that what went on? So he's like, yeah, but it's not a big deal. He's trying to make it out not to be a big deal. But Sarah is pissed, and rightfully so. So I don't blame her for throwing the drink in Sean's face and leaving. So hopefully she doesn't go back to him, because Sean is definitely a liar. He's just a liar with a little money, and she can do way better than him, because she honestly does seem like a decent person. Outside of her crime, what she did, that's something that she's got to live with. But it does seem like deep down, she's a pretty decent, person. So we'll see. She got him to admit that she was his backup plan. So she threw the drink in his face, like I said, packed her bag and left. And she should have smacked the shit out of him, but that's, I guess she didn't want to choose violence that day. So she threw the drink. So next we'll talk about Brittany and Ray. Now we see Brittany, she's driving and she's fuming. She wants to know where Ray is. He's not answering his phone. He went to his cousin's house. I don't know what's going on at the cousin's house. He could be there with a bunch of women, as far as I know. So she pulls up to cousin's house. I didn't get the cousin's name. I should have got it because they kept posting it. But she pulls up and she busts through the door. Don't even speak to anybody that's sitting in there. The first thing comes out of her mouth is, where the hoes at? And Ray's like, what? He opens up the door and lets her come in for her to see. There's nobody there but his cousin and another one of their friends. They're playing dominoes at the table. And Brittany comes in acting a damn fool. She didn't even speak. Didn't even say hello. How you doing? She's like, for all I know, you could be a kingpin and XYZ. And you could tell that the cousin was biting his tongue and he was refraining from cussing her ass out because he probably really wanted to. But, on the other hand, Brittany's worried about Ray. She knows that the cousin has a record. He's a felon. And she knows that Ray shouldn't be around felons. So she was already concerned about that. Then him not answering the phone just kind of, let her in her mind to believe that he was out with other women or probably getting into trouble. So I'm trying to see this from both sides of the coin, but just from the outside looking in, without dissecting too much of it, Brittany just looked crazy. I mean, she went over there going off. And so she left because she, I guess Ray wasn't making her, feel assured or whatever. So she left. And shortly thereafter, Ray left. I guess he was embarrassed because she came over there and showed her behind. So he comes home. Brittany's sitting on the couch in her little cute little pajama outfit, little, satin deal. And she just lets him know that, he made her feel dumb. And he's like, well, you should have felt dumb for coming in there the way you came in there because nothing was happening. And so she did tell him about, her feeling a kind of way because of the record that his cousin has, and he should not be around that. And what if he would have got in trouble, then her mom really wouldn't have wanted to meet him. So she just feels like he just needs to stay on the straight and narrow path because she's trying to show her mom that he's a good man and X, Y, and Z. So she goes to bed, she's just kind of like, okay, I'm done with this for the night or whatever. And so the next morning, Ray cooks her breakfast in bed, and he's got this rose in his mouth. Now, one thing about Ray gonna cook some breakfast. I don't think I've seen Ray cook anything else, but Ray is gonna make some breakfast. I guess breakfast is his specialty. So he comes and brings her breakfast in bed. She's still in her feelings about what went on yesterday, but this kind of lightens the mood a little bit, and they talk. And from what we see, he just kind of lets her know, I'm doing all that I can, and your mom doesn't want to meet me. He was like, but my parents or my family, yeah, they had their opinions about you, but they, for my sake, they met you and got to know you and were accepting of you because of me. And he just kind of wishes that her mom would do the same. So they talk, and I guess we'll see, hopefully before the season ends, whether or not, her mom will actually meet him and actually get an opinion for herself about Ray. I really do like Ray, and I tell y'all that every video. Ray seems like a really cool guy, and underneath all the crazy, Brittany does seem like she's a cool female, but she does have some crazy ways about her. And I can't say there aren't, many of us that don't. So I try to give Brittany the benefit of the doubt because she does seem cool too deep down. She wants what's best for him, and she wants her family. So anyway, we then go to, let's talk about Lacey and Shane right quick. Now we see Lacey, she's watching Shane. Shane's in the yard as usual, doing something out in the yard, working, doing something out there. And this is post lie detector test. Now this is after she found out that he has had interactions with other men, sexual interaction. Well, not physically, but he has engaged in that conversation. And so she's wondering, if he's been lying to her all this time. And honestly, she was just using it as an excuse to call John. So she's on the phone with John, and she's telling John about what happened at the lie detector test. John's saying he's not surprised that, this stuff has been going on because he don't see it for Shane, no way. But he's not surprised that any of this happened. And so she tells him that she misses him and that she wants to see him. And he tells her, you made the wrong decision. And as much as he wants to see Lacey, he knows that Lacey is no good for him. Lacey is toxic for him. He is trying to stay clean or sober. And when he gets with Lacey, he knows that, she's like another drug for him. And it also opens up more doors for him to, get pissed off and slip back into, his drugs and everything. And so he tells Lacey, look, I'll be there for you if he ever jumps stupid, tries to jump on you or XYZ. But I don't think that you and I need to see each other in the way that you're trying to see me. I gotta, stay away from you in that sense. And so she was bummed and disappointed about that. But kudos to John for knowing that he needs to leave her alone. He honestly needs to cut off all communication with her. It shouldn't even, she has a dad. If something goes on to where her and Shane get into it like that, she's got a father, and her father looks like he's a little about it, so he'll take care of it if need be. But good for Shane. And so then we got Lisa, Renata in the wig. Lisa's still trying to convince Renata that she needs to play that Jasmine character, which is the fake profile that Lisa has set up for Stan. She's trying to set Stan up to show him that he is indeed, cheating on her or willing to cheat on her. But Renata is just kind of like, I don't really know about this. She was like, what am I supposed to do? What if he tries to touch me? She is just completely appalled by this. Sleeping with old men for money is Lisa's game. Renata said, I'm not really with that. What if he tries to touch me? She was like, I'm going to bust in or whatever. And she was like, no, what if he has a heart attack? What if we kill this man, trying to play this trick on him? I'm not for this game. She's not really down for it. And Lisa's trying to convince her that she needs to do it, because he's got to pay. And meanwhile, Lisa says that she believes that God put Stan in her path. God ain't got nothing to do with that. Don't put God in this. No, seeking arrangements put him in your path, ma'am. Don't do God. He wasn't a part of that. So she feels like, he's got to pay for what he did, and she's going to make him pay. But Renata is just not with it. And meanwhile, we see Stan, he's out sunbathing on the back deck in his socks. That man is so weird to me. He is just so weird. But he's out there sunbathing, and he's stressed because he's been calling Lisa and he can't reach her. So he doesn't know what's going on. And so, he's just stressed out about that. So finally, I guess she calls him. He comes to pick her up from the hotel. He is just overly excited to see her, hugging her all hard and just acting a fool. And so she was like, bruh, get back, damn, back up. So, he tells her that he's going to take her somewhere. And she's like, where are we going? And so he was like, you'll see when we get there. It's a surprise. So it ended up being rock climbing. He says that he took some broad there in the past. He don't even remember her name, but they went there on a date or something in the past. And we know Stan called himself working out a little bit. So I guess he felt like he was athletic enough to go and do the rock climbing. It would have been probably a lot funner if she was with somebody 30 years younger. But hey, it is what it is. So they get down there, and I guess, they're climbing the wall, and they decide to stop in the middle of the wall and have a conversation. Now they're dangling from the wall. Stan's hair he got a mid swoop going on, a strand here, and the swoop finishes up around here, and he's just looking crazy. I mean, so they just sitting there, and he looked like he'd been climbing a wall. So she uses this opportunity to talk to him about, what he's been up to. Has he been talking to other women? Of course, Stanley says no. Of course, he's going to deny that he's been talking to other women. Are you crazy? And so she asks him, well, what about Jasmine, whatever the woman's last name was? And so he was just kind of like, stunned at that point that she knew the name. And that's where their story ended. So I guess she's going to throw that up in his face at this point. She might have wanted to wait until they got home, because you get to acting a fool with him here. He can just leave you here, and then now you stranded at the rock climbing joint and you don't have a way home. But she don't think about stuff like that. So last? Who else? Okay. Lastly, Marcelino and Brittany. Now we see Marcelino and Gio, who is Brittany's son, Marcelino's stepson. They're out. It looks like they're at like some sort of walking path, and they sit down, and Marcelino has decided, look, Brittany has been wilding out. She's been obsessing about this guy and this money. And, I don't want her to do anything crazy. I don't seem to be able to talk any sense into her. So we're going to call her stepdad, Gil. And I want to bring Gil here to visit, because I want him to try to talk to his daughter, because she is wilding out, and I don't need none of that. The kids and I cannot afford for her to go away for doing something stupid. So I want Gil to come, and he's excited about coming to see the grandkids and everything. And he does, want to talk to his daughter. He feels like he'll be able to calm her down and talk some sense into her. Now, we see Brittany when they get home, and she lets Marcelino know or I don't even know if she told Marcelino, but she tells us for sure that she received some mysterious email and that there's only one person that she can talk to that may know about it, and it's her mom. So she goes to see her mom, who looks really, really good. She looks healthy. She looks like she has not been on any drugs or anything. She goes to see her, and her mom is actually staying with one of Brittany's friends. Brittany's friend has like a guest house that she's allowing the mom to stay in, you know, and all she has to do is take care of the pets and clean the house. So I guess that's more than a fair trade. So the mom, you know, that's where she's staying, and it's a really nice house. And so she comes and she talks to Brittany, and Brittany tells her, you know, I got this email from, you know, the man claiming to be my father, and he wants to meet me and his grandchildren. And so the mom is a little, you know, unsure about that because they were into drugs heavily, and she is not sure if he is still in that lifestyle or not. But I think that she ought to give him a little more grace, because she was given grace by Brittany. Brittany knew, you know, and she was, you know, still into her stuff when Brittany embraced her, you know. So I think that it's only fair that she at least allows Brittany the opportunity to allow, you know, the dad that same opportunity to be a part of her life. So I don't know, you know, they may have bad blood. I'm sure they do, but Brittany at the end of the day still deserves to have some sort of relationship with her biological father. So now Brittany's not really sure how this is going to go, because she didn't know about Marcelino trying to surprise her with her stepdad's visit, because she now is also wanting to incorporate her biological father into her life now. And she's just wondering how Gil is going to feel about that. About that also. And so that's where the episode ended. There were only really two decent parts of two decent stories of the episode. Y'all feel free to let me know what you think. If I left anything out, y'all know to leave it in the comments below, and we will talk about it for sure. Again, make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe to my channel, like this video, or whatever. And I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see those of you who watch tomorrow for Love and Marriage Huntsville. So with that being said, I hope you all have a great Friday night and an even better rest of the weekend. And I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.